Oh, there it is, right. Selected the wrong things to turn on, so it turns out it's actually 2 empty options over there that actually ended up turning on. So, right. Just check everything, make sure everything is fine and dandy. Looks like everything is fine and dandy. So, right. Hi everybody, this is CVGS, I'm the Captain here, and welcome to our discussion stream here on YouTube. So, we're gonna go through the news that we had, you know, from the GC live stream as usual, and also finally like try and solve a conundrum if there is a conundrum to solve, because you know, I realized from last week that we never really resolved the big question. So hi Luke, how's it going? Unfortunately, nope, nothing that I see here. Right. So, anyways, yeah, let's just go straight into the news right now. So hopefully everybody comes in and everybody be able to catch up on what's going on right now. And basically what we got from the review was that it is Monster Strike content. So it is Monster Strike that we're actually getting news for from the Tuesday's live stream. And the gacha time, yes, hi Vimero. So yeah, so for those of you that aren't aware, so Monster Strike is actually a mobile game, and also there's anime movie, there's anime if I'm not mistaken, and they're actually coming to Overdress, and then they actually have like their own playstyle, and the release date for it is actually on the 7th, or no, sorry, on the 23rd of July. So yeah, I just saw it, and there seems to be new over triggers. Am I right? Yes, there are new over triggers. We'll get to them very shortly. So let's start with the news. So just to recap on to everybody on what Monster Strike's gimmick is, right? This is actually the gimmick whereby you see that Grade 0 and you see the order card over there. So this is actually called the first Vanguard, which is the golden egg, and the skill says when you stand up, you become a striker. And what that means is that when you become a striker, you take the Gacha Ridora, the order card that you see on the right side, and you actually take that from your right deck, and then you put it straight into play. Because the idea of the Gacha Ridor is that, right, you're supposed to, you tap the card, then after that you take the top card of your deck and then you put it inside the monster box over there. And what happens in the monster box is that, right, at any time in the main phase you want to you can exchange one card from your hand with a card in your monster box with the same grade. So that's just kind of like the gimmick. So it allows you to actually be able to filter your hand slightly by using the Gacha Ridora, in order for you to be able to get cards in there. The other ability, which is the once per fight ability, so by paying if your opponent is grade 3 or higher, by paying Counter Blast 2 and resting this card in the order zone, you can actually send the top 10 cards to the monster box, and after that choose 3 cards from your monster box and actually call them to separate regard circles. So in a way, this is actually a good way to actually reinforce your field quite well, especially in later game with the once per fight thing. But then you also have the ability to be able to filter out your deck and be able to fetch some things here and there as we go along. So that's just a brief description of what the Monster Strike cards are. Yeah, then we go into the card reveals itself, and you get to see your Sentinel actually. And this is the same skill as the other Sentinels that we've seen thus far from Overdress. So the red PGs that you get there. So the ability is when placed on a guided circle, choose one of units, it cannot be hit. And then if you have 2 or more cards in your hand, you must discard 1 card from your hand. So actually, yeah, the funny thing is this looks like Asuna from Sword Art Online, which is hilarious. Hi with the wolf, how's it going? Yeah, so I find it funny, this actually kind of looks like Asuna from Sword Art Online. So, but that's just that's just one of the small comparisons that I'll ever make, so because I don't really know much about Sword Art Online. So then the only unit that we actually got, the only unit card that we actually got is this one over here. So this unit skill is that when it's placed on the Vanguard or Regard circle, you look at the top card of your deck and then you can choose it to put it on top or into the soul. So this one kind of helps with filtering to a certain extent. Then the Regard skill. So when this unit attacks, if you have Persona Road this turn, then for the battle, this unit, you can have this unit gets plus 5k. Then if you do, at the end of that battle, move this unit straight into the soul. So this card actually kind of encourages the idea. Hi there, Rin. So good to see you. This card kind of encourages the notion, rather, that the Monster Strike deck seems to be playing with mostly an empty field. So we really kind of got that hint with the once per fight thing, whereby you call 3 cards from the monster box onto your Regard circles. We kind of got that idea already, so this kind of like reinforces it. So we get more and more card reveals as we go along in the weeks. But yeah, this is actually the only card review that we got thus far. Everything else has been revealed as like cards of the days and such. But this is actually pretty nice card actually. Not too overpowered as well as I initially thought it would be, but it's a nice touch. If you want to talk about overpowered, we should really go into the over triggers. Today will be a very little news, right? Yeah, there isn't much news or so, but we still have to go through them as we go along. So, Bringer of Light, Lucifer. So, they have their own over triggers, obviously, and they come with, and there's 2 different over triggers that they have in the set. This one is the first one. The additional ability for the over trigger for this one is that for that turn, all of your rear guards get plus 10k, or you choose a card for your damage zone and heal it. So this is unconditional. So when you trigger this over trigger, not only will you you have the choice of either like giving everything a whole lot of power. You can also choose to heal off as well, even if you have 1 damage as well. Like, and your opponent has like 3, you can still heal it off. That's the insane thing about this over trigger. It's pretty powerful. And really gives a lot of like hype and ridiculousness to the monster strike deck. So, and I think that's what it needs. It needs to have this level of ridiculousness, because of the fact that you can actually heal unconditionally from it. It adds a lot more intrigue to the monster strike deck, and I think a lot of people might actually like think of probably just trying to make a monster strike deck because it looks kind of fun. So if you get this as this defensive trigger, no, Vimero, it's additional ability. You don't heal twice, because the additional ability only affects if you drive check it. So yeah, so you either heal or you give power to everybody. Sounds broken. Yeah, kind of sounds broken. So pretty good. If the opponent has a bunch of unguardable attacks, I'll just use the 10k, especially. So yeah. Oh no, Vimero, you have to remember, you can only heal once, because you have to drive check it in order to get these abilities. This is an over trigger, so you have to drive check it and then you'll get the additional abilities. If you check it as a damage check, you don't get the additional parts. So I've got events it doesn't activate. Yeah, pretty much. So gotta clear that up. That's super important. So yeah, but that's not the only over trigger we got. We got the other one over here, which is Arthur, and this one is even more insane. As the additional effect, you choose one of the following: retire all of your opponent's rear guards, or choose one of the units and it gets 1 critical until the end of the turn. This is even more broken now. I wouldn't say so actually, but we'll talk about that at a later time. So give me a second. Sorry, got a video run, so I'm sorry, but what? Yep. Yep. It's broken and spicy too. Hi, Fries. Yes, it does sound broken and spicy. So, premium V is just strong. So, hi, Drake. How's it going? So yeah, retire all rears. So retire all opponents' rear guards. Confirm monster strike. Not really, actually. Honestly, not really, because this is still an over trigger, and we've said this before with previous over triggers. Especially with the Dark States one, the Brain Gate, especially the Dragon Empire one. So these are powerful abilities, but they're locked behind having to check it as a drive check. So if you don't have them as the drive check, right, you actually don't get the additional abilities. They become nothing, and these are not like Token Rumble where they're called trigger orders. So you cannot actually like use this out as a trigger order and say, hey, I can use this ability from there. No, this is a standard over trigger. This is a 100% standard over trigger. No fancy things to it. So, but yeah, so that's the counterbalance to that. I always said that this is actually a counterbalance, but this is wild and really like they need it to be this wild. Honestly speaking, they need it to be this wild in order for people to really kind of like look at Monster Strike and go, wow, actually that's gonna be really, really good. I might actually pick up this deck because it looks kind of fun. Especially if you get the overtrigger, is the hype part for the overtrigger, which I think really, really, really sets this up quite nicely as well. So yeah, that's actually mostly the news that we got from them. At least card reveals. So a lot of stuff was spent on the anime, and especially talking about the upcoming events in Vanguard 0, which we're getting a chance to actually be able to pick up Danji and Tomari fight skins for Vanguard 0, and then there's also the tower where you can actually get Magnolia's stuff as well, which is quite nice to see. So but yeah, in terms of Monster Strike, right, we're getting this, and then next week is also about the same as well. We're not going to get a lot of news, so we're actually getting another 2 more double R's from the Monster Strike pack also, in addition to 2 others, which is Ono no Komachi and Benzai 10 as well. So yeah, that's the news. In less than 15 minutes I just covered the news because that's all that they've given us from there. So I did expect going to the collab sets that there's not going to be a lot of heavy news, and they're actually not going to be talking about right lines actually, because the Monster Strike set, right, they mentioned that your right lines are going to be more diverse, meaning that anything can be part of your right line if you so choose. There's no set right line because of how the nature of Monster Strike actually is. So yeah, that's just one of that's just one of the things that they have brought up also. So that's why we're not getting a whole lot of news, and we're just waiting to see what kind of potential power that we can actually get over here in terms of what you can put in the right deck, what you can put in the deck and such, because the Monster Strike deck is supposed to be like you have your start deck, you have your trial deck rather, and then after that you can just take stuff from the other sets, and then you can just mix them, match in to make it much better. So yeah, yeah, that's it for the news. Good night everybody. Yeah, pretty much. Unlike the live stream, I give you the news straight. Because this is a discussion stream, this isn't a news break stream, so we won't do you dirty that way and just keep it to the last hour and such. But essentially, yeah, that's just pretty much the news that we have for this week. So I wish I could say much, but even at the Tuesdays live stream also, after a day of thinking, like my opinions really don't change all that much in terms of what we got over here. So have you finished Overdress, Cap? Any opinions on it? Yes, I have finished Overdress also. But this is a discussion stream, so feel free to put in your opinions. Let me know what you guys think about the Overtrigger and such, and what we got going on over here as well. Like share your thoughts as well. If you have any questions, feel free to share it as well, because I still want to give you at least an hour of this discussion stream. So I post you guys questions, you guys post me questions, and I answer them. Then we can just go into a whole tangent about it. So if you want to, so yeah. Right. As I mentioned, I finished Overdress. I really liked where Overdress was going, but I'm not a big fan of that ending, because it's a setup for the next season, which we know is happening. But they shouldn't have done us dirty that way, I feel. And just the way that things have progressed, right, means that they might end up having to set up Danji as like the bad guy now, and no longer the thing, because it seems that the bad guys are gonna be like the Team Daybreak rather, which I think Danji has a history of, and I think something was cut, like a deal was cut somewhere between Daybreak and Blackout, or Danji rather, so something might happen from there. And there's a reason why he set up Toya to be there. There is good reason why things are happening in the way that it is, but I still kind of feel very dirty about I feel like I've been done wrong. So then I can't really rectify it not until we go into the next season, which is like in October, I think. So let's see. I'm surprised that season 2 of Overdress can be like immediately after season 1 ends. That's not how season system works. So no, sometimes it can be that way actually. Because if it's like if season 1 ends and then the next one is directly afterwards. That's perfectly fine. That's actually perfectly fine because I think it makes sense. It helps people also like stay in touch. Because they can just like do a recap of like season 1, and after that when the season 2 happens, then they're not immediately lost. There's no months in between, that kind of thing. So even so, nothing is said that they won't do any months in between, because they still have to set up the whole idea of Team Blackout not being led by Toya, and you know, all of the members like kind of collective feelings about it, the animosity that they feel about Toya, especially after what he did. But yeah, we have to see what goes on in season 2 from there. So do you think the Bruce deck is going to be a powerful deck with the new cards from DPT02? Hey, oh, it's not built up yet, but I do have DBTO2 stuff, and actually it has proven to be powerful. Actually, it's a very good upgrade. It's a really good upgrade. So for Bruce, right, Bruce really got a really good upgrade in terms of DBTO2, and I haven't modded it yet because there's some stuff that I kind of want to preserve first before I actually go into the mods here. But definitely a lot of like stuff that came up for Bruce, and all of the decks actually came out really nicely, and all the decks are much more stronger for it. So hi Kazu, how's it going? It is powerful that with DBTO2. Yep, him and Bastions are top dog now. So why not just continue being the same season? Most anime seasons usually last 12 episodes. That's something that I realized after a while. Unless it's like a big like shonen anime, you know, like Bleach, Fairy Tail, Naruto, and all that, right? It doesn't have to go continuous and be like a 52 episode. They want to keep it condensed because they want to keep the thing concise. And I think a lot of like non-mainstream anime, or rather, not say mainstream, but more of like the mainstream anime that's not very like high prominent or supported by certain companies and such. They keep it to 12 episodes just to keep the story concise and fillerless as much as possible, although Overdress kind of failed on that. But separating 2 seasons also not only just keeps the hype, but it also breaks apart the notion that the anime is no longer supporting promotion for the anime. Sorry, for the card game rather. And it's more of like people watching it and then they go, oh, I think I'm gonna enjoy this card game, then they go straight from there. So like people who are already watching it, which is us players in Vanguard, we already see this. We're just seeing this for this already. We already are playing the card game already. So everything else is just kind of like secondary in nature. That second part is not really there. And so bring it up to 12, right? And also keeps it concise and tight. And after that, you move on to the second season and just build up from there. So because nobody knows whether if Overdress is actually going to be successful. The first season is going to be successful. If Overdress wasn't successful, if that first season really stacked and nobody liked it, then you know they're gonna have to destroy that and then you know make a then go back to the world that we know. So but Overdress has proven successful, so that's why they made a season 2. So that first one is kind of like a test. Season 2 might follow like just a 12 episode kind of, because that's the way things are, and I prefer it that way because it makes things a little bit more it makes things a bit more condensed and easier to kind of digest. You get story through and through throughout the entire thing. So yep. Yep. Yes, yep. Thank you. Yep. Thank you for that. Yeah, for Overdress, my favorite season because it doesn't have supernatural stuff also. Supernatural. I'm okay with the supernatural stuff that came with the previous seasons, but in terms of like not having any supernatural stuff in there, I honestly thought it was gonna be something that has like ties to like Planet Crane and all that, but I really love that the idea that it's actually in the real world, and Kai, Aichi, and everybody else in Vanguard, right, actually do not live in the same world, so they're self-contained with their world. I kind of dig that more than, you know, the whole supernatural aspect of it. So, but I don't really hate it too much. So, I really love the slice of aspect, especially. Yep. Is it possible for Toya to join Blackout like in episode 12? He didn't join. He was made the leader of Team Blackout by Danji. So, sorry, no problem, Kazu. No problem at all. Yep. He was made leader by Danji actually. So, yeah, we have to see what would that entail come season 2. Vimero says, yeah, Eugene is not actually playable. Haha. Eugene has always been playable. It's just he's in a better state right now with DBTO2. I feel so. It is in a sense that they can essentially do whatever they want, which is bull if you ask me. In terms of what? in terms of, if you mean in terms of the anime, yeah, they all can essentially do what they want. It is their story after all. But you know what they owe us is a good story. So far so good. I prefer it that way. So by the way, during the Bushido English Conference Summer 21, absolutely, man. I absolutely will tune in because I'm just excited for every English player as well. Because when we deliver our content here at CVGS, whether it be the recap videos or fight videos, right, we have the English players in mind, because the English players are getting the stuff late, and they'll always be turning to the Japanese side to kind of preview and see what is going to be good, what's not going to be good, and you know what they should pick up, and you know what's coming for them. So for me to tune into that summer conference, right, is also important for me in order to be able to see like what is coming for English as well, because I would love to be able to talk about the stuff that's in Japanese that hasn't been announced for English, and then you know like just helping to enforce the hype, or to continue carrying the hype for Vanguard Overdress and the collab sets in English and such also. So I will be tuning in to see what we go from there. So but Toya as leader of Blackout, will Team Blackout be liking members, since a lot of members of Blackout hate him and want to pay for price? Exactly, that's the conflict right there. There is the conflict right there that Season 2 can actually focus on. Just the fact that the members don't actually trust Toya, and they don't understand why Danji is actually made him a leader. And so if they're there, they're gonna be a bit of conflict. If they're not gonna be there, then a lot of people are gonna leave. I can definitely see some tension between Toya and Megumi actually. So those two might actually clash and butt heads there. So yeah. So yeah, the 12 episode format is wonderful. Following 50, 67 is just tiresome. Exactly. So like sometimes I think back to watching 65 episodes of Vanguard Season 1, and just thinking just how much of a chore it is to just kind of go back. Even I go through the story mode in Vanguard Zeros on 2 different versions or so. It's kind of like, you mean I haven't reached the part where IG has taken up Shadow Paladin? Like it took a while. I feel like there's a lot of things going around from there. So I'm gonna help my parents with their Zoom. Okay, bye Kazu. Bye. Hey Gap, what do you think will be the lowest ranking deck post CBDO2? Very hard to say, honestly speaking, because a lot of the decks that were built in a lot of the decks, right, actually got a lot of their problems answered in DBTO2. So I honestly can't say Magnolia. I honestly can't say Eugene also. If I were to put something in lowest, it's not because that they generally aren't good. Everything in there is good. It's just the lack of build up, you could say. So in my opinion, off the top of my head, I actually say, right, the lowest ranking deck could potentially be Draconic Overlord. I think Draconic Overlord could be considered lowest ranking one, but not because it's bad or anything. It's really good, but because it's an encounter card and there's not a lot of cards that really support the thing outside of outside of creative builds by the player base themselves. But if you look at the core set as it is, also I think it might end up having, like, because of the lack of support, it might actually not being as good as what intentional hype could be. So but as I said, so don't take anything away from that, because Dragon Overlord is still a very good deck, and things can change. It just depends on how players are actually playing the deck and building their deck in performing them in tournaments. So we have to see. Probably it's still Eugene. He did get a boost, so did everybody else also. It helps a lot, but he still lags behind a bit. So yeah, join the conversation. If there's anybody asks a question here, you can also answer them as well. So no problem. I'll read them all out. Yeah, but like BTO1, but it's not like BTO, it's just bad. He's kind of good, but not enough. Yeah, we're more talking about Eugene. So I forgot PBD and Overlord existed. Yeah, they're there. So what we're doing depth profile for 5 nations. We do depth profiles in all our 5 videos. So in terms of like specific video depth profiles, we don't generally we're not well known for it, rather. So we're not even well known for it. We rather talk about the deck profiles in the 5 video cells, and rather just showcase them in the fight rather. So that'll be a more efficient way of actually showcasing deck profiles and such, and you guys will see the graphics, you guys will see them all of our socials and all that. So we have DBTO2, we've taken the week to play and boost and try, and we're gonna go back into the lab, and then we're gonna bring DBTO2 stuff. But we got some DBTO1 stuff still to clear up, so there's gonna be some videos of that, especially since with the with the week off that I was forced to have because my laptop battery was bloated. So now it's fixed, and then I'm able to get back into the grind again. So you can expect 5 videos from us very soon. And I'll try to churn through as quickly as possible so that we can get you DBT02 stuff as quickly as possible. So that's the idea from that. So right, I actually want to say PBD because it loses too much stuff to do simple stuff. So well, compared to, well, they do have a few things in there that actually allows you to be able to cope with the whole, you know, cope with the whole like losing too much aspect. It really comes down to just how the player really like takes the deck and runs with it. So I think that's the most important thing. Here we go. Out of all the card fights in the original series 1, the one against Kai with Royal Paladin, against Aichi with Shadow Paladin was my favorite. So the final battle between Aichi and Ren is my second favorite. So because those two are significant fights, because Kai is there to finally show him that Psycholet isn't all that up to be, and he finally was able to redeem himself because he finally was able to do the thing that he wasn't able to do for Ren, and that is managed to save IG from falling into the influence of Psycholia. And then yeah, second one between IG and Ren, yeah, because that was the ultimate match, the climax of the battle. So yeah, those two are really good shouts. Although I would say that I think the fight between Kai and Ren, actually, the end versus Phantom Blaster Overlord, that one is fantastic. That was actually fantastic done. The drama is also quite there as well. So it's really good to that fight will be considered my favorite, I think. So I think encounter cards are kind of bad as a concept. I don't know. They take up space from new units and mostly new card sets from it. Yeah, that's why they're a once a year thing. That's why they established as a once a year thing. If I'm getting legacy support in later sets, then what's the reason I have to get it outside of nostalgia? So the thing is, right, from what I've seen from DBT02, it's not just the encounter cards that are there. There's actually a couple of cards in there, right, that actually is support. They're under Cactus Sanctuary, they're not encounter cards, but they actually support the blaster namesake or the Overlord namesake also. So there are a couple cards in there that is actually specific to them, and I think going into DBT03 we might actually like see those another 2 more cards to help support more of the deck right there. So I wouldn't say I think they will continue to get support later on, just not on the high end because they shouldn't be, but enough that it freshens the deck come the 3-month gap. So that the overall deck doesn't feel stagnant, you know, once DBT03 comes out. Same with the Phantom Blaster Dragon deck, and I think that will carry on, so on and so forth. Right, and even put in nostalgia support, we have V and Premium collection for that. So yeah, especially because we got V and Premium, because those cards are definitely designed designed to be a part of Premium as well. Because a lot of people can come up with a lot of combinations with those cards in play. Maybe not specifically Dragon Overlord and Phantom Blaster Dragon, but I think specifically the others like the Nehalims, the Charons, the Mahas, and so on and so forth. So yeah. Right. What is your favorite mechanic that was introduced in each new season? Like Limit Break, Stride, Legion, Imaginary, Persona, right? I am very yeah. That's what it is while my brain ticks. Yeah, I think Stride was my favorite mechanic actually. I like the concept of being able to go into Stride and then later you get a lot of fantastic powers. I still like the concept to this day, and that's the reason why I still continue to enjoy and play and even collect cards in Premium for the Strides, because it's fun. Like Stride is a very fun mechanic. I can do a lot of things in Stride from there. So Persona Ride will be my second because I really love Persona Ride. I love how like it enforces the idea of you know, having to rewrite your Vanguard every time, because there's a good reason for you to do that. At the same time, also getting that plus power, that additional draw, a lot of capabilities as well. Like Persona Ride definitely would be a second for me. So yeah. The end versus Phantom Blaster Overlord was also badass. So yeah, it's pretty badass. My favorite in original season 1 was the battle between Misaki and Asaka, where Misaki remembers her card placement in the deck. Oh yeah, that one was fun because Misaki plays with the power of memory. So yeah, then she completely psyched out. Asaka. She outplayed her. She really outplayed her using a memory. That was a very good moment. So. Yeah, there's generic character Empire stuff that support them, but I don't know. Again, take space away from new stuff. Like I said, Vimeru, they're just once a year things. So and thankfully they are not cards, right, that actually overpower the others in any way. So encounter cards, right? Think of it as new right lines. Think of it like the new right lines that we're getting in DBT03. You know, it's exactly the same concept. You're just using the idea of nostalgia and replacing it to give yourself a reason to not like it. I don't encourage that, because you have to see them from the aspect that they're brand new right lines. Think of it as like, you know, they're new cards in Dragon Empire, new cards in Chaos Sanctuary. Ignore the fact that they are nostalgia. Let's take away all the 10 years. You'd see them, you'd have no problem with them. But the only reason why you're saying as such is because we had the 10 years, I feel. So you gotta take yourself out of that box and just think of that as new right lines. And you should know that they should continue to get support so that they don't remain stagnant, because the last thing that people want to feel about these new cards, especially new right lines, is that they stagnate in between the boosts, and that should never be the case. So you gotta step outside. I really advise that you should really step outside of that mentality, because it's not really helping you see the bigger picture over here. So agreed, but there may be people who want to play standard because they may not like strides or gifts. So I think the idea of encounter cards is not terrible. Yeah, if people have fondness for the older cards, that's a good way to really reintroduce them back into the game as well. So strides, like, I don't know, I generally don't like extra cards, so the G Guardians are actually my favorite. So yeah, I mean, they're part of strides, so yeah. Gifts are also pretty good, especially when some certain decks don't span them. So yeah, we don't talk about those certain decks. So I love the G zone. However, towards the end of G, it became very linear. You essentially just went into the same G unit every turn, which took away the versatility and factor of the G zone. Yeah, especially that was the problem with G. And you know, for all its faults at the end, right, the mechanics still remains fun. I love the mechanics still. I don't like the way that they boosted the thing. In fact, all of us in CVGS really didn't like how G era was being boosted as we got closer to the end, because things just seem to be very like one note. There's no dimension of mixing and matching. Everything is just, oh, you see this particular deck, then you can expect A goes to B to C to D, because that's the strategy. Rather than now in Overdress, whereby you see A and then it could go into B1 or B2 or B3, depending on what certain aspects are in the hand or in the build, and so on and so forth. So yeah, when it came to boosting, right, like G really like lost the ball closer towards the end over there. And then, you know, when they rebooted it, they tried to reboot it, and then, you know, they made V Premium, as it is known now, and then, you know, they went along with it. It was okay, but then it ended up being the same problems came through. So with Overdress so far that we've seen, so far so good. DBT2 also looks very good as well. So let's see where things go on as we go forward from there, because I'm really able to trust producer Mori and his team in terms of, like, you know, being able to handle the boosting for Overdress, because that has always been a problem of Vanguard, and that's why a lot of people kind of like stop playing or stop having problems keeping up with Vanguard, because of the way that the boosting is. But now that the boosting is actually a little bit more consistent and there's a bit more breathing room, and a lot of people can kind of like give a sigh of relief, as they don't have to really spend on the game all too much anymore. You could say. So yeah, it definitely kept people like still into Overdress, and, you know, still really kind of like you know, still wanting to play the game also, which I think is a perfect move from there. So is it possible to mix Blaster Dark D series counter cards with Roll Upon deck? Only in premium, I think. Only in premium. Because premium still has the rule that you can add 4 Blaster Ducks into the. You can add 4 Blaster Ducks into the into Royal Paladin deck. You can't do that in V, because in V you need to have the Royal Paladin. You need to have the continuous skill on Blaster card. This card is also a Royal Paladin. You need to have that in place in order for you to be able to play Blaster Duck in a Royal Paladin deck. So only in V you can actually take the D series one and then play in there. If you're playing the old Majesty Lord Blaster, of course. So yeah. Some guys lost their 2-kit kinda and just went for kills on first strike. Exactly. So that's the problem. Yeah, exactly. That was the problem with G in the later years. So towards the tail end of it. So yeah. Yes, Cap. Thank you very much, Hendrik. But my main gripe with strides is that it kind of trivializes your Vanguard. The grade tree is just fodder for stride, and then it's just there to do skills when you stride. So yeah, especially can we just G Guardians into V though? Yeah, I'm hoping that they will introduce more G Guardians into V. But here's the thing: Vanguard actually has gone well with extra decks. It has gone well with extra decks. That's why stride lasted as long as it did. Stride actually lasts longer. It's the longest standing mechanic in all of Vanguard, actually, because stride lasted for a significant amount of time. I think 3 years. I think then it went to V series. The thing is about the extra deck, right? The mechanic is well done. The mechanic is well done. Like I said, the mechanic is well done, and there's nothing wrong with. There's really nothing wrong with how the gameplay actually works for Strike. It's just the Strike units that you get. The problem is not the mechanic. The problem is the units that you get. And your main gripe is really with the main unit, with the units that's in the G units. Because they trivialize the grade 3 so much. And so if you sit on a grade 3, right, you're basically a sitting duck. That was the problem. That was the problem. And that's why Strike ended up being not very good later on. And that's why a lot of people turned off on Strike later on. At the start, it was actually really nice. And it really, really like set off quite a bit in terms of like what's going to be a very good step forward into how they're going to make Vanguard quite a fresh game. So yeah. If they're going to use an extra deck mechanic, it needs to be a mechanic, like you're not obliged to strike every turn like in G. So, yes, that was a thing. What they needed to do was that they needed to make it so that staying on the grade 3, right, was just as viable as striding. So if they actually made like strike units that actually had that kind of capability, it would have done better. It definitely would have done better. I can agree with you on that. So, but again, I would say I will point more towards the strides. It really point more towards the strides and the lack of diversity. Because the plan for strides, right? The plan that everybody has for strides is just strike to A, then go to B, then go to C, then go to D. Instead of A, then it can go into B1 or B2 depending on the situation, so on and so forth. That should been how it went later on. Because if you go back to how it was when you only had the 8 to strike with, right, it didn't really matter. It honestly really didn't matter what you stroke with, because you know that these were cards that you're going to be expecting to strike onto. It's just later on when more and more came out and suddenly things became, oh, this is a bit more powerful, so there's no reason for me to play this older stuff. That was the problem. So that was honestly the problem. So some deck might use them more than others and all that. So yeah, that's the thing right there. So, but I think the power boost and just strong skills for little cost really broke the mechanic. So, like I said, it's several factors. It definitely is several factors, and what you just said is exactly what I've been saying the entire time. A lot of strong units that has a lot of strong skills for little cost, and no other alternatives. It's just that one. If you're not going to that one, you don't even have to strike even. So kind of. The way strikes and V series make a deck very expensive, and my wallet cannot handle. Thus I stop playing. Overdress, Morisa make playing a deck more reasonable. Thus I'm able to play it again. So yeah, especially like when they made the decks, when they made everything a bit more reasonable to play. Yeah, that's why Overdress ends up being one of the best boosts for Vanguard right now. We're currently living in that good era right now of Vanguard, which is quite nice. I've been thinking about doing a premium deck with the D Blaster deck and MLBs to take as the fire. No problem. Look, so I got an idea of what you were doing. So yeah, I don't have an idea. I don't have a problem with budget, since budget decks exist. You weren't obligated to get a VR. So yeah, V series, yeah. But no. Here's the thing. V series, that was the problem, because you had to get the VR. Otherwise, while you do have your budget decks, right, your deck's not gonna be as good as somebody that has a VR. That was the problem. That was the problem. You need to get those expensive strikes, NG Guardians or so. That's the same problem with the V, and that lumps everything together into the biggest boosting problem. I can go into a tangent right now about boosting right now for Vanguard back in the day. That was the biggest problem of Vanguard boosting, because you had GRs, because you had VRs. That extra rarity where they lock out certain strong units that is quite vital to a lot of big plays that you can do. Really made right the whole entire era of Vanguard in that period really hard to follow and to follow along rather. So because your best units in V and G are locked behind the highest rarities in there. There's no R version, there's no lesser version of it. There's no alternative to it. Those are the only ones that you get, and if you don't get them and you face somebody that has them, boom, you immediately cannot fight. It's going to be an uphill battle for you immediately. Yeah, that was the only reason why GRs and VRs are expensive. That's why those are expensive, because not only were they important units, the supply for them was also low as well, so the cost goes up even higher because of how rare they actually might be. And, you know, It just makes the whole entire like process just sucky. Just imagine, I'm so passionate about Vanguard. Imagine yourself being a 12-year-old kid. I'm very passionate. I love Vanguard. Vanguard's like one of my favorite games, and I got this deck from my parents, and you know I got a few packs here and there, and I installed some stuff into there. Immediately you start playing against other people in like say a tournament environment or free fight environment, and the person just coming straight at you with a $150 deck that they bought off the internet, and then they just beat down. Then they just beat you down as if like you know. But I don't have these cards. Like I wish I had these cards. Because there's no way that I can actually fight yet because these cards are so strong. That was the biggest problem of boosting in Vanguard. That was the biggest problem. Biggest problem with decks that use multiple VRs. Especially, yeah, you need a double VRs. It's the same with GRs also. It's the same with the strikes. And that was the biggest problem of Vanguard boosting. The entire damn time. So... Let me use the big screen for this because I think you guys should get the big screen on me. So I'm outside now. Hang on, give me a second. Hang on, wait. Killing the magic here, but here we go. Big screen, here we go. That's why when they announced that in Overdress, right, they're actually going to be eliminating all the GRs and the VRs and going into the triple Rs. That's what made it so much better. That's what made it so much better. And you know, like, and the amount of cards that you can actually get from the boosters, like, there's enough supply to go around. There's enough for everybody to be able to get their playset and to be able to play that playset. And anything that's outside of that rarity is just basically a rarer version of the same card. That's how GRs and VRs I think should have been, and then everything else should have been triple Rs, so they were easy to get. Then if anybody wants to bling up their deck and make it nicer, and you know, make it like a full bling deck, max rarity deck, if they want to do it, they can absolutely do so by just getting the GRs and the VRs. But that wasn't the case because they came up with stupid SGRs, SCRs, you know, SVRs and all that other stuff, and call, hey, that's the fancy thing that we can do. That should have not been the case because we really are very like this is something that this is a hill that will die on. VRs and GRs and locking out specific units out of those really what killed Vanguard boosting, and it made it much more difficult for players to be able to play these cards because, especially if they want to play competitive, they need to get these cards, which is they have to shell out a lot of money in order to be able to play at even a competent level. And I also feel bad for the casual players as well. I'm not just talking about kids, I'm also talking about players like myself. Because, you know, if you're just gonna look at this game casually, just play for a small while, you know, like play with family, you know, at dinner table gatherings and all that and other such, like, you know, like, I don't have these things, but immediately when somebody comes in and they have, oh, I got the VR, let's go. As long as they run up to that VR, they're never gonna be able to really lose outside of being luck sacked out to death. Like, that's the problem. That was really the problem of Vanguard boosting. And the fact that they've removed all of that in Overdress made Overdress so much more better, so much more easier. And so, I said it before because I have to reiterate, it's so much better now. Vanguard boosting is so much better now. The only problem with Vanguard boosting right now in Overdress is that it's not an even it's not even release for everything. So it's not an even release for everything because all of the sets in there, right, like everything in there is not even, and it's really just a dice roll. It's really just a dice roll of what kind of sets that you get within it, how many amounts that you get within the carton. Sometimes you get enough for two to three players. Sometimes you don't even get enough for two players sets and all that. And that was like, that's the thing that Leon kind of goes through whenever he does like carton openings and such. Whenever he's selling whenever he's selling like play sets and all that, like, you know. That's the biggest problem right now with Overdress right now, and I'm okay with this problem and hopefully having this problem addressed rather than having GRs and VRs and, you know, just locking units out of those specific rarities only because, you know, they should be these rarities and therefore the demand really goes down from there. So I'm done. I'm done. 100% yes. Okay, there we go. I got somebody that 100% agree with me. So, for example, GL costs $50. You need 4. You need like to spend like $200. Yes, exactly. So, and that's excluding the triple R's, rares, commerce from there. So, overdress really just seems kind of expensive in the American market. Some of us are $10 plus. I'd rather some are $10 plus than VRs and GRs being $20 to $30, and you need like 4 copies from them. So, $10 for 3 triple R's for them at $10. That one's perfectly okay. Before, with GRs and VRs in place, and when you need 4 copies of them, yeah, as Rin said, you needed to shell out about $200. You need to shell out about $200 to get them. So, because the stocks in America is currently low at the moment right now. So, and especially with the fiasco that happened with DBT01's release. So, hopefully DBT02, and it seems like they've resolved all that problems, because the festival collection came out with no hitch. So I think going to DBT02, you guys will be able to get your cards from there, and it shouldn't be as expensive, because I think it's only expensive as it is because of people who are scalping. So people who actually manage to get the English releases, they're actually selling it for high because they know that a lot of people are actually going for it. There's not a lot of supply available yet because of the problems that were coming with the release of DBT2. It was very problematic at the time. So yeah. But I think DBT2, since now we've seen Festival Collection, everything seems to be fine thus far. And English going to DBT2, I think you guys should have a smooth ride. So I think your prices should be a bit more standardized and a bit more like equal to what we to what we get here with the Japanese side as well. And as mentioned, if you guys really want to be able to get, if you guys want to get a set from there, we can set up for you. Just come to our Discord over here, and then you can actually chat with us, and then you can let Leon know that, hey, I'm looking to get a playset for a nation. We can also do it for English as well. If there's enough of you guys that actually want English, we can actually do in English. We can actually do English for you, and then we'll be able to send it over to you guys as well. To ship overseas, you need to PM us to get more details, because you guys will need to cover the shipping costs. But otherwise, if you guys want to get if you guys are looking for an avenue to get cards from, you can definitely get them straight from us. So do look into that. So, right, where was I? So, need to be secondary stock in August for those prices to make it cheaper. Especially, yes, that's absolutely true. You guys do have a second restock coming in, so you guys should be able to get all your cards. The supply should be adequate enough that it can fit all the demand that people have for Overdress. So. Two best decks come from trial decks. Yeah, I mean that's what's nice about the start decks. The start decks are actually really very good right out of the box, and that should be the case. And the fact that these start decks are even competitive as well makes it all the more better. So yeah, that sounds super devastating. I feel absolute pain. So it's more of just an expression of frustration, because as much as we love Vanguard, we also hate it to a certain extent. But we don't hate the game, because the gameplay mechanic is great and all. Like I wouldn't play the game if the game sucks, and Vanguard has never sucked in terms of gameplay. It's just the way that it's just the feelings that I had when I was selling Vanguard, when Leon is selling, for Leon to be selling Vanguard now, and especially for me to be purchasing and playing the game as well. Like what's coming for me, because that's where the source of all this really came from. So one reason why I quitted playing Vanguard to Overdress came in. So yeah, exactly. That's something that I highlight over there, because those are also the reasons why a lot of people stopped playing Vanguard as well, because game was not only healthy for not just for new players and current players right now, but also to bring back jaded players as well. So they needed to make sure that it's healthy both in the primary markets, gameplay wise, and also secondary market as well. So that's why they made a lot of changes, and a lot of things going into Overdress, right, was really like absolved. You know, the problems of the past are no longer there anymore, and that gives me a lot of comfort and keeps me hype for Overdress right now. Like even like this, I got 2 copies of SP Mabel here. Let me blow it up. I got 2 copies of SP Mabel here. 2 copies. And this didn't cost me much as well for SPs. That's the beauty. That is really the beauty of Overdress right now. This didn't cost me an arm and a leg. Not anymore. This is good. So yeah. Yeah, I still need at least 2 Valiantes awaiting DBT02. So it helps if you have two Valiantes, because Valiantes is quite helpful to have as maximum copies I have. But that doesn't mean that your deck is less 4 with without the 2. Because you can still do quite a bit of things with Valiente, and that's what makes things nice about Overdress. You can just buy a pack, and then if you get what you got in there, you can add it to your deck. It feels nice, but that also doesn't give you a huge of an advantage over other people that actually don't have these cards. Like say a start deck as well. A start deck can still outright beat you through tactics. Still beat you outright through tactics as well. That's the nice part about Overdress right now. I think we should have the thing of you should be able to make a deck with this box. So yeah, that's what they've been doing also. While DBTO2, right, is there like later on in VSET, so it at least one build or so. Yeah, but it kind of like polluted the criticals and the oversaturation of the triggers, right, actually kind of like made it a bit like over polluted in terms of like it took up a lot of space that could have gone into other things. And while there isn't any triggers in DBTO2 per se, right, because you can get those triggers from the start deck, because they still encourage you to get the start deck still. So in DBTO2 not having triggers, right, is perfectly okay. Because there's still availability of start decks. It's not like the start decks are no longer out of print. They're still going to be printing DBT01. They're still going to be printing the start decks for a whole year still. They're still going to be doing it for a whole year. So you still will be able to get your triggers, you still be able to get your other stuff. I'm inclined to actually get another Dark States deck to actually just get the triggers and actually put into my Bar Magnus deck. That's how nice it is. So that's how nice it is also. And and keeping it to just those like standardized triggers from there, I think it's perfectly fine. I think that if they, for not putting triggers in upcoming sets, it frees up more space for you to be able to put significant boost cards to significantly boost the things. Because then if you have triggers in there, right, you won't especially be able to give the new right lines a proper boost, especially when you need to boost everything else in the set as well. So I think taking them out from the sets is perfectly fine. You can just get the start deck for the triggers and whatnot, right? And then you can just get the current boost right now. You can still make a very good deck from those two sets without going into the previous ones before. That's the nice thing about Overdress at this point in time. So yeah. Yeah, but maybe you can get some extra triggers for buying a box or so. DB2 just has 2 and the rest are nations get support for now 3, so which will really help in the deck building from there. So I mean, draft picks you won't be able to do that, but again, as I point out, that's the reason why they're following through with the notion that there's going to be start decks still available. So yeah, triggers, why does DB2 only have new fronts? They introduced new fronts because they want to encourage people to play fronts. It's similar to how they introduced the stand triggers back in G era, with the abilities rather than giving them to criticals, because they want people to diversify their trigger lineup instead of just playing 12 criticals and be a quick game. They want to give you these abilities so that it's something they have to consider and put in the deck. And if your playstyle supports those even more, that's more power to you as well, because you have those additional benefits in there as well. So yeah, and the fact that DB2 only has the new fronts and no other triggers in there means that there's still going to be a healthy amount of sales. So this is good for the shops. There's still going to be a healthy amount of sales for the start decks, and also DBTO1 as well, because that's where you can get the triggers from there as well. So it ties in together with everything that Mori-san actually said about how they're going to be handling Overdress going into it, and that's just everything just coming together and him following through on his words, and that's important. So hope DBT introduce new ones. I'm okay with them not doing so if it means that there'll be space to give a significant boost to the 3 new right lines that's actually in the set. So yeah. So as long as as long as we get some good significant boosts for in DBTO3 for these 3 new right lines, I'm okay with not having triggers in there and just going into the start decks to just get my triggers from there. Like that's absolutely like the way that I'll do it. So I'm okay with just getting an extra start deck just to get the triggers, or opening a few packs in DBTO1 just to get my triggers. It's perfectly alright. The fact that there's still a market for these two, that's what's most important, I think. So yeah, I made a paragraph of text here. Seems like I hate this stuff, but I'm like, bruh, who cares also? I can. That's why I'm arguing with you. That's why I'm willing to debate with you on this. Argument is not the wrong word to choose. So that's why I'm willing to debate on you this, because this is what I feel, and I feel that this is the reason why. I'm not saying that I advocate for Mori-san and his one, but from the actions that I've seen from Mori-san and his team, and the way Vanguard Overdress is being there, and also previous sets, that's why I can say the things that I'm saying right now, because I'm confident that that's kind of like the truth. So yeah. Take it as well. I actually managed to pre-order the English version of the encounter cards except for PBD and Draconic Overlord, so I'll be looking forward to those when they come out next month. So good on you, Luke. How would you rank the different triggers? If you mean if you mean all the triggers, right, I definitely heals and crits number 1, number 2. Heals are I feel like heals are very important, and for people to consider taking them out just to play like 16 crits in their deck, right, it's just very like it just doesn't seem fun in my opinion. So that's why I put criticals number 2, draws number 3, fronts number 4, stands number 5, because there wasn't a lot of opportunities for people to really use stand triggers, and stand triggers didn't really help all too much, so, and the fact they have to rely on them, kinda not there. So Cap, what do you think about the new SD? I mean BI? Oh, Bush. Oh, you mean the new start deck? So, it's hard to speculate what it might be actually. I don't think it should be Dragon Empire. I think it's very hard to speculate at this point in time because we don't know what might be the new start deck actually. As long as it's not a new nation, I'm perfectly fine that they're not bringing the thing. So I really can't give you an answer on that, unfortunately. So yeah, they are coming up with a new start deck before DBT04, but I do not know. It's very hard to say what it might be. So I'm looking forward to the news though. There's no problem. So right, are you gonna play Magnolia and Zero Man? Absolutely, I'm gonna try my best to actually get it. Since I'm now here, I'm not gonna be playing it at the start of the event. And not at the end of it, so yeah. I definitely will be playing that. I wanted to buy English version, but in SG, English is very hard to sell. Mostly people buy Japanese version instead. So yeah, because like people can get over the hurdle of the Japanese language, and people are, you should know the term, people are very kanjong. For my Western friends in the chat, so kanjong means they are very like antsy. They're very antsy and just want to play the new stuff right now. So there is still a community for English players. Rin will be one of those. People. A few others here as well. You can still just get the English version because there's still gonna be English versions from there. And I think if you find a good group, a good amount of friends, I think being able to buy the English version should be okay for you. So it's just a matter of just keeping your eye out and just looking for that particular group. So because I think they're out there. So you think the 20k shield front triggers will be the new format's draw triggers, or you think they will just add trigger sentinels? I don't think they'll add trigger sentinels at a point of time. So what he thinks or hoping. So because I really do not know, because it's hard to speculate really. So right, so the 20k shields, right, no, they're not gonna be the draw PGs actually. So I think this is just a one-off thing. It's kind of like to be able to encourage people to step away from playing 7 criticals and play soft fronts, because there are a lot of builds, right, that really support this. And what better way to incentivize it than to give you the guarding capabilities. In fact, right, this plus 5k draw, right, if you guys haven't noticed yet, right, there is no 20k guards. There is only 5ks and hang on, yeah, there's only 5ks or 15ks. There is no 10s in this deck, and that was done on purpose, because if you want to get the even number of 10, and that's the Overdress magic number right now, like the 10s, the 20s, the 30s from there, because there is no the front triggers. I'm a little bit all over the place, but let me just finish this thought. So the fact that this card, right, gives you plus 5k shield means this is a 20k guard, which means that guarding those whole numbers is going to be a lot more easier, and that's the incentive right there. Because sometimes, right, you choosing to guard with your 50k, oh, you still need 5k more. I probably have to get rid of I don't have a draw trigger, so I have to get rid of a useful unit in order to do that. So this kind of alleviates that quite a bit. So yeah, it does alleviate it quite a bit, and so I'm glad that this is there. I won't say that they are draw PGs. I won't say that they are gonna come back and bring Sentinels, because I think them taking the back to Grade 1 approach, I think it's actually alright. Keeping the draw triggers to V Premium, I think is what makes V Premium quite unique on their own. So for them to actually not bring draw PGs into or like trigger PGs into Overdress, I think that is perfectly alright. If they do introduce it, I'm not against it. You do have to decide between the grade 1s and the grade 0s, especially if there's gonna be some units that have a lot of like guard restrictions and such. But that doesn't exist in Overdress yet. So the card pages that we have is actually perfectly fine, I believe. So yeah, they might add more triggers with skills down the line if they want to keep that trigger lineup as fresh as possible. Maybe they add some draw triggers that have some stuff in there. So but I think them doing fronts is like, it's just to discourage people from standardizing their trigger lineups also. I think it makes it more interesting if people diversify their decks. Like this current Power Magnus deck that I searched through. This current one is actually a 7 front deck. Only because I don't have critical triggers. But even if I do that right, I actually might play more fronts than I will crits. So because I think that's more fun that way. So yeah, 60 crit decks just show design flaw in some decks. So yes, especially like it's better to go full monkey instead of actually playing the game. Exactly. That's not a problem of the deck. That's the problem of the player, because they don't want to play a game. They just want to win. They just want to win. That is the biggest problem. That is actually honestly the biggest problem. It's less about, because the triggers are all there. The stands or the you know, the fronts or whatever that they have available to them, they're all there. The problem is not the deck. The problem is the player who just wants to win, and everybody else that resonates with that mentality and net decks those things, and net decks that because I just want to win as well. That's the problem. That's really the problem. A competitive game, yes, you should look to win, but not at the expense whereby you can't tell a story. That's my stance. That's a personal stance of mine. The personal stance of mine, right, is that I'd rather have an interesting game and lose than to just win outright and have nothing to say. Good example will be what we saw from Kazu on the live stream. So yeah, Power Madness with fronts, it hurts, bro. Yeah. Like you see my point. You see my point over there. You know, we played the Power Madness. For those of you that weren't on Twitch yesterday, me and Kazu, we actually had a match on stream, and I built the Power Madness deck on stream as well. So that's one of the nice things that happened there as well. Then I tested it out, and you know, I tested out with how Power Madness deck builds and just iterating the deck to get into a good state, just to feel how comfortable it is. And we can tell stories about the Power Madness deck because there's a lot to say about how the match goes up. What we can't talk about, right, is just the way that Kazu and Leon had a match. Because we set up a challenge mode, and then, you know, things happen not because of the match. Things happens because of certain complications. That was the World War story, but not the match itself. Like, it's boring to tell somebody, let me use an example. It's boring to tell somebody, right, oh, I won, oh, how did you win? Oh, I just crit him to death. Which is a better story? I just crit him to death, or like, man, he's playing this deck, right, and you know, we had a toe-to-toe match, so it was 5-6. And then he played this thing that I've never seen before, which is quite an awesome move and so interesting. I've never seen it before. Which is the better story? Let me poll you guys. Which is the better story? Oh, I just crit him to death. Oh, this guy actually has this really fun play. I wish all championship matches were like that. There were a lot of championship matches that I've seen, right, that weren't that, and few rather that actually had that compelling competitive story. And I'd rather follow those stories than the, oh, I just crit him to death. There's nothing to say. It's just so nihilistic, and that is just so. That's just so frustrating, really. Honestly, that's just so frustrating to hear. Because Vanguard is a game and it should be fun, and people should be able to tell stories through Vanguard as well. That's part of the main reason why I resonate to certain creators like Outer Orange as well. Even though you guys have not heard it before, I brought it on the show. Like Outer Orange was one of those persons whereby they were telling stories. You know, they were telling stories with Vanguard from there, and that's what really kind of resonated me to her content. And you know, so on and so forth from there. So yeah. Stories, man. And this is a game. The game should have these stories. So yeah. Who would you choose that suit or playstyle? Oh, who would you choose that suit your playstyle? Bastion or Bruce? Bruce. 100% Bruce. Yeah, I prefer win by strategy than create him. So yeah, that's the thing. I rather I outplay him than outluck him, because there's nothing to tell about outluck. I feel bad about outluck the person. So you know, from there. Yeah, I'm one of those who doesn't like to win for the sake of have fun. Yeah, that's especially so. For some reason, I resonate too much with because blue wing, front trigger, spinning variant. Yeah, we all have our reasons to gravitate towards certain things. To go against the norms. I wouldn't play like 8 crits in anything, not unless there is no reason for me to play anything else. My blue stack actually was going to be a front deck actually. It was actually going to be a 7 front deck, but 7 fronts really didn't work because I already have the power. I just need more critical threat. So that's how it ended up going from what you call it? That's how it went from going into a front deck into a crit deck. Because even when I played balance as well, like four crits, 3 fronts, the fronts still ended up killing it a little bit. So still ended up killing the deck a little bit. So that's why I ended up playing 7 crits in the deck. So I start from what I want to play, then iterate. I only go into a full critical deck only because the other methods don't work out well. That's how it should be. So yeah, now I'm in front to focus the blood as well. So I felt, remember, so draw effects, tanky shield effect also. Actually that might not be a bad shout, but then I think that should come later rather than at this stage in time. I think maybe when you introduce like when you introduce the next power creep rather, so like the next set of start decks, the next set of DBO2, the new season rather, so like 2022 season, you could say. What do we call it? Yeah, if they introduce draw triggers with tanky shield effect, I think that would be good. I think that would be perfectly good. So I hope the new V selection brings front sentinels. I want to drop the draw. Nah, man, not going to be the case. So you already see what's going to be in all that sets. Fronts, no, not likely. So that's why I don't feel satisfied when Dion lose because of my yeah, exactly what that's exactly what I'm referring to. There is no story there. There is no good feelings there. There is nothing to feel there. So that's why I take it on me, right? And that's why the channel is focused the way it is. It's more focused on fun rather than just being a competitive channel, because the competitiveness is there, but we want to show you guys, continue to show you guys that this game is fun. And the only reason why we got this many people, like the amount of subscribers we are 8.6, almost 8.630 right now. 8.630 right now, thanks to each and every one of you. Thank you so much for that. I think we only got the way these numbers right is because we kept reminding people that Vanguard is a fun game. Like the games that we have has always been about good times and great laughs, and just enjoying the fun of the game. And that was something that resonated with you guys. That's why you guys are here on this discussion stream right now. So, and I'm so glad that you guys are here. Sorry, excuse me. You guys are here. So, and that's the main reason why I want to continue doing this. Like, you know, continue doing the discussion streams, the live streams, so on and so forth, and all that. The reason why I want to do all those things, the reason why I continue to do all this, right, is because of you guys. And you know, just this is fun for us, and I'm glad to see that it's fun for you. So it incentivizes me even more to continue doing this for the love of the game, for the fun of the game. And I think as long as we have that, and we will continue to have that, as long as the main source, which is Bushiroad and Producer Mori, as long as they are continuing to make this game fun, and you know, like from the source it's fun and fair and balanced and all that and such, we will continue to have love for this game, and we will continue to do content for it as much as we possibly can. So yeah, I don't think Monster Strike has one core mechanic due to every card is unique. So yeah, I guess we should talk about Monster Strike a little bit. That's the thing about Monster Strike, Brain. Because Monster Strike, what you call it? Blah 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 blah. Monster Strike, right, does not have a set right line. So everything in that deck, right, is you can mix and match. It's kind of like, what's a good example? It's like Token Rambo. It's like Token Rambo back in the day, whereby you can just take whatever you want, put it into the deck, and as long as the play styles resonate with each other, it can be any style of deck. It can be really any style of deck. So the core mechanic for Monster Strike is really the Gacha Redora, which is the gacha thing over here. So this is the only unique thing about Monster Strike That's across all of the things. This is the core mechanic from there, and everything else, right, resonates to the idea of being able to either use the gacha Redora up to a certain extent, or to help reinforce for it also. Like the only aces I think would probably be the two from the start deck and whatever Gucci aces that's also in there as well that can go into the right deck, and that will determine like what can you expect. But because it's Monster Strike, it's hard to predict what you might be up against, since the whole entire right there, right, can literally be anything. It can literally be anything. So yeah. What do you think of an 8 front police deck? Oh, you mean Dimension Police? If you mean Dimension Police, it won't work out as well. You will be your front triggers will definitely be useless if you cannot maintain that front row, and a dangerous front row at that. So 8 fronts would be a bit difficult to kind of work out also, or work out well really. So you probably will have to play criticals on that. Yeah, so every time I chat with Ryuji, I win or lose because of crit Ryuji. Crit again? Yeah. What kind of stories are those? I mean Sarah Snow. Okay, thank you for clarifying. Fronts on Sarah Snow, same thing. It's the same thing. They can work. It can work, but the thing about Sarah Snow is that none of them have plus critical. None of them have their own innate criticals. The only reason why I can get away with fronts in Barmenas is because Barmenas itself has a plus critical on him. I can't say the same for Sarah Snow, honestly, because for Sarah Snow, right, playing full fronts, 8 fronts in there, right, because you don't have the additional critical outside of your over trigger, and that's like 1 shot in 46, you could say. Yeah, so front triggers does not really help because you don't have any units in there that has a plus critical. So if you have something that's a plus critical, you can get away with it. But because Sarah Snow's deck does not have anything that plus critical on their own, by their own power or ability, you might have to consider playing criticals in there. So 8 fronts may not work out well for you. Right. So, yeah. Probably gonna play the over trigger outside of the Trout deck one. So yeah, you can play the Trout deck one, but with Sarah Snow, right, she does work best with the Brand Gate over trigger, because that one is like, that one doubles everything that you have, and so that actually makes the deck even more dangerous. That really makes the deck even more dangerous, I feel. So yeah, if you don't have the means to be able to get the over trigger, that's fine. The Ovaria will take you far. But if you want to take it further, I'd recommend getting the Blanket over trigger, because that would really push it over the hill, in my opinion. So I can really buy a deck with the money, so they got really expensive here. So yeah, I see that. So right, so that is I think that's gonna be all for me right now. If you have any questions, I'll take questions for about another 5 more minutes. So any comments that's within that time as I'm reading it, I will continue reading it out. So do get it in. But yeah, I will probably be ending the stream very, very shortly. So I thank you to everybody that has joined me thus far. And while it isn't a big news, and thank you for letting me vent about the things that I had problems with Vanguard in that regard. Maybe get to that into a top 10. Maybe, but I gotta get through like other things as well, because I definitely, there's one thing that I've talked about, which is the top 10 Vanguard Overdress moments, and I'm going to follow through with that. That's going to take me a bit of time, but I will go through that. So yeah, I'm one of those who prefers to keep my deck balanced with just 4 criticals. So as I said, keep it to 4 criticals. Keep it to 4 criticals as much as possible. But if your deck, but experiment with your deck. Like, if you, as much as you can prefer that, right? If it works better if you play more criticals or less criticals, explore that option. It's always good to experiment. You never know when you'll find a sweet spot. 9 minutes in steaming. What do you mean 9 minutes in steaming, Edric? So yeah, You can expect a recap video tomorrow. You can definitely expect a recap video tomorrow because I'll definitely be working on it. And yeah, there won't be much news on it, so there might not be a lot of jokes that I can insert into it. But we'll still continue to bring you the news for Vanguard Overdress from the live streams as we go along as well. So short stream today, good, yeah. There's not much that I can really say, honestly. There's not much else that I can say. When the cover Vanguard originally came out, it came out in 2001 in Japanese, and I think in 2002 in English. I have the promotional album here, so actually I did this on Twitch, so I should do it here as well. I brought my album back home from the office, and inside, oh yeah, 2010, yeah, 2000. Sorry, it's 2010. It's 2010 in Japanese, 2011 in English. So, and this is the first ad. This is the ad for Vanguard back in the day. So yeah. There's no year, unfortunately, but this was one of the first promotional materials that they have when they're promoting Vanguard in English. So not 2001. Oh, sorry. I meant to say 2011, 2012. So yeah. Yeah, I meant to say those. So yeah. So that was this is the original ad for that you usually will see in conventions, like they give out those flyers and such. This was the flyer for it. Then I actually got that. This is the first booster set, and then I also got the second booster set over here. So yeah, these are like the ads that you will get from conventions, as I mentioned as well. And inside here, there's a lot of cards that I have in my quote-unquote collection. You can see a lot of good memories in here, so which I went through over on Twitch. So then I can actually go through here. So won't take too long. So these are some of the SPs that I collected that I have. The first one was the Blau Kruger that I actually gotten from BT04. Then I got Miracle Beauty, which is quite nice because I actually liked Miracle Beauty's play at that time. So, and then Middle Train Roses. This was the first Neonectar Ace Vanguard that actually came out, so which is quite fun. Then Ashley, Blockade, Inferno Blockade, and Vowing Saber Dragon. I really like this one. So I like Vowing Saber Dragon. I wish it got better. So first booster King of Knights. Yeah, first booster King of Knights from there. Then we move on to some of the others that I gotten later on, which is which is Kirill, because DBT06 I actually managed to get Kirill from there. Then this one came from the SP pack for Konofang Tiger, which I managed to get those. And yeah, SP pack for Gavril, Pale Moon, Luque, and so on and so forth from there. Royal Paladins as well, including the original Baka and the latest Baka that was actually in the set. Few PGs over here, which also includes this one over here, which I am particular about the art for. I really like the art for this one. Some nostalgic stuff, a lot of nostalgic stuff that I have over here, really. So, how am I supposed to do this? Hang on, I think I put myself center. There we go. Nah, nah. Quite a lot to see. So Galahad, Palamedes, and so on and so forth from there. Blaster base as well. This one came from the Legend deck, but then I also managed to get myself a Blaster base Seeker. So, well, 10 years of Vanguard flew by. So yeah, 10 years of Vanguard really flew by. So just a lot in my collection here. So I'll skip all the nitty-gritty stuff, but I do play Japanese, of course, and I think one of my more favorite gets was this one over here. It's missing 4 cards because they went to Leon and Jiraiya, but these are the Depend card versions of the cards in the FC in the Fighter Collection 2015 Winter, and they had a Depend card campaign in there. And so let me just get a zoom up from there, so you guys can kind of see. Focus camera, focus. Like, ignore me. There it is. So you guys can see there, Depend. This card came from the Depend card that we had. So, because we didn't know that they had a campaign for Fighters Collection Winter. I think we bought a carton of it, and then we opened up one of the packs, right? Then inside was the Depend card, and we didn't know what it was. We didn't know what it was. It's like, wait, what is this blank white card going in? Then I saw the effect on it. Then we realized it's actually the depend card. It's like, oh, they actually print the depend card? What? They printed the depend card? Oh! If you guys aren't aware of what the depend card is, hang on, let me get the... Like, this was a plot. Like, this is not the depend card, this is the depend card sleeve also. This was part of the plot for Vanguard G at the time. Because the depend cards were like, oh, they can be turned into any cards that they had the power to turn the card into any card that you want. Keychains, so on and so forth, all kinds of merch in there. So, sorry, my internet is so crappy if I missed another one of your streams. Never ever apologize for missing any of our streams or so, because these streams, as long as we are able to do them, we will always be here. So it's just the same with you as well. If you're not able to be here, there's nothing to apologize for. It's completely understandable, especially if you have crappy net and stuff been happening here and there. So yeah. Lag? Is there lag? Are you guys... Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear that music? Like... Am I okay to everybody? Like, I know the stream is ending, but am I okay to everybody? I think it should be fine. So, I think my internet is laggy. Yeah, I can hear it. It just lagged a few seconds ago. So, yes, I can hear the music. Okay. So everything seems fine also. Maybe a hiccup on their side because I think I don't see any problems on my end. So now it's fine, huh? All right. So. Yeah. What was I talking about? Was it my depend card story? Was it the depend card story? Like this one? Because I'm not sure where I left off also, but yeah. But yes, so that's this is pretty much like 10 years of Vanguard right in this album right there. There's a lot of nostalgia in here. And yeah. More nostalgia gonna be added in there. So yes, the depend card story. So yeah, more nostalgia gonna be added in there. So right. Just to finish up the story, so we got the depend card from Fighters Collection Winter, and the depend card was part of a campaign whereby you can actually trade it in, and you can actually trade in for I do tell that, but I can watch it later on. So no, I can tell you right now, Rin. I can tell you right now. So the depend card story was that the depend card was part of a campaign, and you can actually trade that in, right, just like you would with your points, for a special thing, which was a copy of all of the GRs that's in the Fighters Collection 2015 Winter. So you saw 4 cards over there. There's another 4 cards. 2 went to Jiraiya, 2 went to Leon. So hopefully I'll be able to get those cards back and return them into the album in order to have the full collection over there. But probably my most favorite get was really that, and also the depend card as well, because I will never ever forget the moment when I opened the depend card and just immediately face right there, realizing what it was. Like, I didn't care what the GR was. I didn't care about anything in that set. What was most important on that set was just getting the depend card, which was very, very rare, and not a lot of people actually got it. And I took a photo, and you guys saw on Twitter, like the depend card over there. Actually, let me bring it up. So let me bring it up while I can. It shouldn't be too far. Oh, also DevFi is gonna be in the conference as well. So in the conference as well. So we'll be cheering him on from there. We can search the depend card. It should be from us. Oops. Can we search us? Like just us here? CVGS depend card. Oh, that would be top. So I think if I go back to the depend card, I go into photos, I think. Oh no, we can just go to our photos. Our media here. Should be able to find it. Low-tech battery, it's very far down because it's been a while since we talked about it. Bury me, everybody. Nope, can't search it because it hasn't loaded yet. Toko Dayo. It's very far down, so maybe you can type your IGN and the pen card, you might find it. I did that, but nothing came up, so. So appreciation. Again, we pushed past 8.6 right now, so thank you guys, everybody. Please continue to spread the word of us. Please do. This is me crying about Ultimate Riser. Mabel, D20VG, my own GIF. More D20VG, hey, that's pretty good. More Dark Matter. Wow, it's very far. It's very far. Very nice. Danger is real. Wait, was it? No, that's Fridays. Deck this. Where is it? Wow, was it really that far along since I talked about it? Holy crap, baskets. Yeah, very far along. It's very far along. Wow. Even past top 10 right lines as well. Holy crap. At least we have some good music on right now as we go through a nostalgic scroll through all of the shenanigans that we've had. Ah, here it is. There we go. Finally. And because of CVGS and the pack card. Yeah, that's what I did, so. So there it is. That was the Depan card. 2016. Yes, it was very far off. No, actually that was 2015 actually. That was actually 2015. This card is 6 years old. I treat down manually. Ah, there it is. Yeah. So that's the Depan card. That was the Depan card. And there was a code at the back, so that code was what identified your thing over there. I didn't show the code obviously because I don't think it's safe to release the code. But yeah, they printed this in the FC Fighters winter pack also. Remember how shocked we were when we opened it and then realized what they had also, and everybody kind of like really jumped on it also because it was really like this was really one of the fun things also. Wait, there was a real one. I need one. Yeah, pretty much also. You got a lot of likes on this one because this was really fun. So click the heart to like it. Nah. Right. So yeah, do follow us on our Twitter for all of our socials. You can also visit our Facebook, our Instagram as well. Join us on Discord as well, because I did mention Discord will definitely be a place where you can find myself, Leon, and Nefs on most nights. At the same time, also you guys can also like check in with us to see if you guys want to get some cards from us, Japanese cards, maybe English cards as well. If there's enough of you guys, we can actually open pre-orders for English DBT02. So just everybody can just get together on the server, just talk to Leon, and we will try to do our best to actually accommodate you guys in terms of getting cards, because that's one place they can actually get them from. Let me bring back the window from there. So right, there we go. Right, so here in the pre-orders, you can always talk to us, and of course, if you guys want to get cards, you can do from there. We also have a tournament Discord as well. So this is the tournament Discord. You can find all the links in the description box below. You guys will actually be able to join our tournaments. We'll be starting out very soon. Please do join our tournaments. Register over here. And yeah, you guys will be able to earn some prizes and such as you guys compete in here. Including, which is the latest one. Hang on. Where's the news? Oh, announcements here. So yeah, which also includes a chance to actually get the DSR Violence Bruce. So we have the Japanese DSR Violence Bruce. We're setting it up as the top prize. So if you guys want to compete for it, This is Japanese only, so if you only have a Japanese, you can do so. But we will be setting up English tournaments as well, so do look forward to that. You can find the links to the tournament server in the description box below, and yeah, get over from there. Yeah, as I said, that also follows along on Twitch as well. So if you guys want to see more gaming stuff, I might sneak a surprise stream later on. So hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. So just follow us over on Twitch, and then you can actually join me and talk about other stuff, gaming and such as well, where our Tuesday's live stream will also be as well. So if you want to join us as we see the news live, do be sure to join us over on Twitch over there. So, and yeah, that's just pretty much it from there. If you guys like what we do here, want to support us directly, do be sure to join. Do be sure to hit our join our membership here on YouTube, or you can subscribe to us over on Twitch. If you join on both sides, you'll be able to get access to our meme moments and badges. And here on YouTube, like Rin, you can actually request. You can actually get requests for you know for videos, because that's part of the package right there. So yeah, if you guys want to see something specific from us, absolutely 100% let us know, and then we'll do it. In fact, the top 10 the only reason why the top 10 is a thing is because somebody requested us to do the top 10. One of our members actually requested us to do the top 10. So especially, like, that's the way they can really support us from there. So me, I can request. Yes, you can. It's part of the package. Yes, it's part of the package. So right, I think that's it from me right now. So there's somebody else with me right now. So with all that said, thank you guys again for joining me. It had to stop on this music, so thank you very much for joining me so far, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.